Oops. Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 146. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you should be because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. My name is Wilson Horrell. I am one of your hosts. I would like to remind you that the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast is not censored, so listen at your own risk. I would also like to remind you that Lift Heavy Run Long has an app, and we want you to be on it. For $3.99, you can be on that app, and what you will get with that is 3 bodyweight exercises, 4 barbell strength exercises, and 4 daily WODs, which will be delivered to your calendar. You will also have access to the greatest endurance trainer in the world, Ms. Valerie Hunt of RunRx.fit. For $9.99 a month, you can have access to all the programs that Lift Heavy Run Long has to offer. Everything from 5K programs to 100-mile programs to Spartan races to triathlons. If you would like to try any of our programs, then please go to www.liftheavyrunlong.com. Click on Sign Up Now, and you will be taken to a page that has a description of all the programs. You can add your email address, and you'll be given a free week on the app. No obligation. The goal of Lift Heavy Run Long is to bring fitness to as many people as possible, as inexpensively as possible. So if you or someone you know does not have $3.99 to spare per month, but you think that fitness will enhance the quality of your life, then please email me at wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com, and I'll be more than happy to add you to the app free of charge. I have, sitting next to my right, my most favoritist person in the world, who also happens to be my wife.
It's me.
Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell Jacked and Tan.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm fantastical.
I'm like out of breath. That was a mouthful.
It's a lot to say.
And y'all keep me on edge. You know, y'all like to push the envelope on this time.
Well, you said 7:10, so 7:09. You know,
it works out better that way, really. Because if I got here at 4, I would stress about it for 3 hours. So I might as well get here at 7:05 and stress about it.
Yeah,
for
so
5 minutes.
usually I'm here about 10 till 7. We kind of hang out and chit-chat as we're getting our stuff ready. You know, somewhere around 7:05, we turn on the cameras. We do all that stuff, and then stuff goes live at 7:10. Today, I think I walked in at 7:01. We turned on the cameras at 7:08. Vaughn walked in at 7:09. We took the selfie at 7:09 and 15 seconds and went live at 7:10.
And we're killing it.
And we're crushing it.
Speaking of crushing
efficiency.
Hey,
the Reverend.
the very definition of crushing it.
The talent is here.
He is here. And we're happy to have you here. We cherish all the time that we have with you because we don't know.
We don't know how much more time we have with you.
Because it's just all spiraling.
No, just because no particular reason. Just time is precious, and I'm being philosophical. It has nothing to do with your trip to Zimbabwe that you're taking tomorrow.
Nothing to do with the fact that you're leaving in 2 days.
No, 2 days. Yeah.
Going into the woods with banjo players.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Banjo player.
If you're lucky, they would have seen a banjo at some point in their life.
I feel like Canadian banjo players will be.
They're very polite while they're crushing you.
Right.
Oh, man. You excited?
I'm
Nervous?
really sorry
Scared?
you died.
Everything?
Yep.
All that?
All of the above.
Good.
I saw we got an Airbnb.
I did. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
The guy seems pretty nice, and I don't know if you've ever done Airbnb before.
I've
but
not. No.
You
Do
go
it
on,
all the time.
You go on there and find you a place, and there's all kinds of different ones. Like you can stay in somebody's basement, you can stay in just a room in somebody's.
You can
house.
rent a room. You can rent a
an
house.
entire house. Yeah. You can rent an apartment. It's
I was
It could
cool
be
with
anything.
the fact of that till somebody was like, "Oh, some of them have like cameras throughout their house, and they can."
Well, and so one of the
Okay.
first things that I do, I actually disable their home internet whenever I show up there. I seriously do because I've got unlimited data. So that's one of the first things I do is if I can find their cable modem or whatever, I disable that in case there's anything like that going on.
That's brilliant.
That's
you
a
have
good
to
idea.
show
But
me how to
unless
do
you're
that. while I
staying
do
in
that.
the house with somebody that is
Well,
going
yeah.
to be like the place I'm staying in Canada, the guy's going to be there. But it's like I'm in a room in his basement that has a outdoor.
So he's going to do the old school surveillance and just follow you around.
I don't even care. Like
He'll
just
wake up and
needed-
he'll be standing
I
over you.
needed a place to spend.
We might need
Right.
this video as
and I-
Vaughn's last moments that he was known to be alive.
Yeah, I wasn't like looking for having fun. I literally just needed a room to sit in all night long until
Because he's not going to sleep.
No.
Right.
Like the difference between 1 star and 5 stars is irrelevant.
it made no difference to me. It made a lot of difference to my wife.
If he thought
She
the
was like, "You
Canadian
can't go
police
stay in-"
would not get mad at him for sleeping on the bus stop bench, he probably would have done that.
But yeah, I would have. I considered staying in the airport.
In 12 seconds or less, tell the audience what you're doing. We're sitting here talking about this thing, and maybe they don't
you
even
can
know.
go to the specialforcesexperience.com and see everything that I'm doing. But basically, this Thursday I will fly to Canada. I'll spend the night in the Airbnb. Try not to get murdered. I'm going to wake up the next morning and take all the things they've told me to bring with me to a certain longitude and latitude in that town where I'm staying. And there is a bus that's going to pick us up at noon. And I don't know what's going
And
to
at
happen
that
after
point, we know as much as you do about the next 8 days.
You
of
know
your
as much
life.
as I do. It's going to be 8 days, and we're going to be doing who knows what.
The closer that this thing gets, and I'm sure I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. The closer that this thing gets, the more proud I am of you for doing it, and the more excited I am that you're doing it, and the more I doubt myself as to whether I would have had the backbone or the idiocracy, depending on how you want to look at it, to up and do that, because this is a big deal. It's a big thing to just jump up and do that.
Nobody knows how big of a deal this is.
Hey, Beef, do you remember
is.
that he's finished a hundo?
He has done a Hyundai.
He's done a hundo.
Yeah, well,
the guy's
I mean,
done
it's
a
not
hundo
even.
who's got a
it's-
jacket.
It's so like psychological up until this point. It's a very expensive trip. I was talking about it at the gym this morning to some people, and like I spent all of my vacation at work. My family will go on vacation later on in the year, and I will not be able to go because I have to work. It's very stressful finding a place to stay, going to another country. They don't have Uber. How am I going to get from the airport to? It's a 30-minute drive to where I'm staying. It's just all these logistical things that every little thing costs $100, and it's been very stressful to make all this stuff happen, to expedite your passport. What if that doesn't get here? Oh, it got here, good. Well, I need a blood test. Well, that's another so many hundreds of dollars, so let's go do that. Well, what if I can't do that? What about my plane tickets? How am I going to get that? Well, gosh, the price of the plane ticket's going up every single day. It's just all these things that you have to orchestrate. It's not like I've known about this for 6 months.
I think that plays in your favor. I think that probably if he would have said, hey, we're doing this thing 14 months from now, you would have had a long time to figure out why you probably shouldn't go. And this was just such a quick turnaround. Like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah.
And now you're doing it.
You didn't have time to think about it because there was such a short amount of time for you to get everything done that had to be done for you to be able to go.
But that makes a whole world of difference too, because now I'm like, oh shit, what if I forgot something?
They gave you a list.
They did.
You have everything on the list.
They did, but
you didn't forget anything.
It's not just a list. I can't talk about it, but there's all of these things that I have to do and all of these processes that I have to go through. And if I fuck it up, I'm afraid I'm going to get there on Friday at noon and he's going to be like, you didn't do this thing. You can't get on the bus. And then I'm stuck in it for 8 days by myself in Canada while they go off and do the thing.
Right.
So,
This pales in comparison. So don't hear me trying to make it what it's not. But when I did that Go Ruck Tough thing, and there's those special forces guys that are leading it who are highly intimidating, within the first 20 seconds, I remembered that I'd forgotten my ID. So
Yeah.
I had to take a friend and go and run up the stairs downtown and go get my ID and then come back and already be the fat dumb guy who can't
but
bring
they
the
still
one
let-
thing they tell you to
still let
bring,
you
a backpack
go.
and an ID.
Like these people are like, if you don't have this thing, if you haven't done what we've told you to do, you're not getting on the bus, and they don't care that you just go. We'll see you.
Not our problem.
Right. You paid for the course.
We have people
Who
on
cares?
standby that are ready to come rescue you at any point if you
I
need
hope
it.
so. Yeah.
So
Big
we're
thirsty.
we're all excited for you.
Brian Swanson, the best looking cameraman in the business. How are you, sir?
Man, in the grand scheme of things, I'm good. I'm getting over a very severe case of man flu.
Oh, no.
It was a struggle.
It's close calls.
It was in and out of possible death there for a couple of days.
We were talking about how precious life is.
I understand, and about the same time that I came down with man flu, I accidentally slept in my contacts one night, and best case that I can figure, or the closest thing I can figure out is something got trapped under my contact, and so I've scratched my eye. I have an ulcerated cornea.
Oh, no.
And I have been to the doctor every fucking day since Thursday for them to basically look at it and say, yep, come back tomorrow. We'll
Still
check it again. And finally today, the doctor's like, we should probably put you on steroids or something.
They're just not putting like medicine in your eye.
They've been giving me antibiotics.
Okay.
They're waiting for it to heal on its own, but basically antibiotics just to keep it clean while it's trying to heal. But I can actually keep it open now, so it is steadily getting better, but it hasn't gotten significantly better. So, and the doctor that I've been going to see is going on vacation tomorrow, so now he's referred me to a different group, so I got to go see somebody and start the process over tomorrow. And so if I am messing with my headphones more tonight than usual, I apologize, but like the eye bothers me, so I have to take the glasses off and I have to, dab my eye to get the water that's dripping out of it and all that kind of stuff.
It reaches a point where it can't get any worse.
And that was about a year ago when I joined the podcast.
And I don't know if it's you or if it's me.
It's both of us.
But an
It's
injury,
our relationship.
An injury, it's a metaphor for our relationship. An injury on top of the man flu that's something bad, especially one as horrific as a contact scrape to the eye. Yeah. It's like getting the man flu and a paper cut.
Yeah, on the
which
eyeball.
most men don't live through that.
Right.
So I applaud you.
I'm here
for continuing to fight.
For the people, for our fans. I just knew that I had to be here regardless.
GoFundMe page. Have you started your own with your own obituary? Your living obituary.
My living obituary
about how good of a person you've been. And
I need a biotic eye. What do they call it? Like the
need like
$1 million man. $1 million man.
Call you
yeah, Cyclops. There we go. Just get me a.
Do I seem extra excited? I feel extra excited.
It.
I really am extra excited tonight.
I see it on your screen.
Not just because of this, but just having y'all here. I was so tired, and then y'all got here, and I was like, I feel so good. I feel so much better.
Katie just jumped in. I'm sorry. Just to go back to the man flu real quick. She said the struggle is very real.
She knows it. If anybody knows
she has
the man
had
flu.
to bring me back from death several times for several close calls, and she's over it.
Did she ever bring in like a priest? Did it ever get that bad?
Not quite.
Get your last, will
Not
and
quite.
testament?
Last right.
She did offer to buy me a
Last
patch.
rites. That's what I'm looking for. An eye patch?
No, she offered to buy me an eye patch.
That would be cool to legitimately need an eye patch. Up there with, Amanda and I were discussing, cauliflower ear again this week. She met a guy who had cauliflower ear, and I'm just so jealous of all people who have cauliflower ear because I think it's like the manliest thing in the world. And you don't mess with a guy with cauliflower ear.
Because he's been through some shit already.
I've thought about giving it to myself.
You can punch yourself in the
you
ears.
Just bang on that guy's head all you want, and he's just standing there going, "What are you doing?"
Yep. Just ask somebody who has cauliflower ear to give me that. What did you do to get that? Whack, whack, whack. Now, my question is this. I thought that the cauliflower ear came from like bacteria from rubbing on mats, like fungus, like a fungal growth. But apparently it's from getting popped, like scar tissue.
Cut to the scene from Liar Liar where Jim Carrey is beating himself up. What are you doing? I'm kicking my own ass.
Is that what you got to do? Just kick your own ass repeatedly?
You can lay your head on the toilet like he did and come down And that'll get both ears at the same time on the toilet.
That's a good idea because I don't want anybody else kicking my ass because that would hurt.
I can help.
I know you can.
Lovingly, as a wife, help
You
you
would
get
love to do
cauliflower.
that. I got something for y'all.
I see it.
I know.
You can see it. You're not supposed to be looking at my computer.
I can't see it.
Or you got on there and
I
read
already
it.
read it.
Isn't it great though? Isn't it a great review?
Cheater.
I don't know. Maybe I haven't read it.
That's so good. It's just plain and simple, and what he says is so true.
Do we know
5
him?
stars. Mike from the Berg. Y'all know Mike from the
Pittsburgh.
Berg? Hattiesburg, Pittsburgh, Lewisburg. Something
Probably a friend of Steve's.
Probably.
LHRL. I love this podcast. This is my favorite part. To be honest, I don't learn much from it, but that's how good it is. I love it anyway. Would give it 6 stars if they made more than 1 episode a week.
Oh, there you go.
I was just wondering if the podcast was even like okay now that we've kind of not interviewed people in a while and we don't really talk about a lot of exercise. And I was wondering how we were faring out there in the listener land.
I feel like we do a better job of staying on some sort of fitnessy topics without
instead
having
of having to
guests.
pretend to be interested to get in a guest.
I enjoy it a lot more. I don't know if anybody else does, but it is fun for me.
Not that we're opposed to having guests. It's just
Yeah, I'm just now kind of catching on at what that sounded like. So I'm not laughing at that. Swanson seems to find it funny, though. Y'all were talking about cameras while you stay, surveillance cameras.
Yeah.
Did y'all read about this guy at the CrossFit gym that had surveillance
jeez.
cameras in his gym?
He had
In
them like
his
in the
restroom.
in the bathroom.
What?
In the bathrooms.
He had spy cameras.
Oh, hell no.
And then on top of that, and it's like a community guy, like everybody
Vaughn.
loves him.
Just kidding.
A Vaughn sounds like a Vaughnish kind of guy. Everybody likes him. They love his gym, and it turns out he's grooming some underage girl. Sends her a dick pic.
no way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. True story. I would have Big Thirsty dig up a little bit more about it, but he forgot his computer for the 8th week in a row. I guess I could.
We're on like an every other week situation right now. Let's not
This is like
exaggerate
not
too
really
much.
on topic, but speaking of putting stuff in the bathroom, I am going to try to get like a big jar and a billion hair bands and put them in there for the girls in the gym. So if they forget their hair
That'll
bands,
last a week.
I know I don't want to steal them all, but if they need one, take one. And maybe buy a pack at some point from the dollar store and throw it back in there.
First time 2 kids show up, that hairband thing will be empty because it'll
I
be.
just thought it'd be a good idea to have,
It is.
because I'm always forgetting hair
No,
bands. I'm
It's,
like, crap.
it's very
That is a good
considerate of you.
You know what you should have?
Start the CrossFit hairband
Can we get some hairbands made
box.
up with LHRL?
RX hairband.
And make it like a swear jar. Every
Pony-
time you swear,
Ponytails RX.
you gotta put a hairband in there.
For $12.99 a month.
That's what you
50 for $57 a month. A box can sign up for one of your Ponytail RX boxes that goes in their bathroom.
Yes.
And
There we go.
Yes.
unlimited refills while they're a member.
Yep. Decorate it. Make it look nice. People will pay for it.
I can make little LHR bands, like you said, but I take a little.
no, it's got to be the cheapest, just little hair bands. But on the box you just got to call it RX Ponytail or something RX.
right. Gotcha.
That's a great
It would
idea.
sell. Now Rogue's going to hear this and steal it, and they're going to do Rogue hair bands.
Next thing you're gonna see the old guy trying to show you how to put the hairband on.
He'll set down
On
his
his couch.
he'll set down his antifreeze bucket and be like,
Kathy Owens loves that idea. She said she always needs one.
"Oh, Kathy."
I would bring the empty jar up there, label it the hairband jar, put 10, 15, 20 in there, but then let other people contribute to it. Make it a community effort to keep it full.
Have
Says
the,
a guy
have the
who has
Olive
no
Branch
hair.
CrossFit girls
I don't know that
page.
you get to input on this
I can hit 'em
idea.
up.
Ponytails RX. See if that domain's available.
Registering that right now. If I had my laptop.
Actually, I'm stealing this from that gym in Florida that we went to and worked out at in Destin.
Okay.
The ladies had a thing for hair bands
Uh-huh.
and for feminine items.
Really?
Yep.
That's a good idea.
I was like, that's really smart.
What do y'all think? The 1-ton challenge, barbell shrugged. That's a
I
pretty
saw
cool-
you guys talking about this. Tell me about it. I don't know anything about it.
I looked it up.
I think it is actually a program that they're going to put out later
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're trying to draw you in, and then I think there's going to be a program that Travis Mash built that you can sign up for. But you go to the page and you put in all your lift totals: squat, deadlift, press, clean and jerk, snatch. I think there's 6, maybe 9.
There's
lifts.
6. There's bench press, deadlift, and squat were like the heavy ones. And then the Olympic ones are snatch, power clean, and split jerk.
Is this like the 800 club at the football, at high school football?
Yeah,
stuff?
same thing.
Okay.
And so it's like you want to get to a ton,
Okay.
like 2,000 pounds or
pounds.
whatever.
I want to do that.
Yeah, I thought it sounds really awesome.
Yeah.
And so what they've built is like a place for you to log on, put your totals in, and then it has a big leaderboard. And so it shows everybody who's like 2,000, 2,500 pounds, all the way down to like me who's like 500 pounds or whatever it is. And I just thought it was neat. And so they're really pushing that thing to go put your scores in on the leaderboard or whatever. And I'm pretty sure there's a program coming out that he said
will help everybody get to 2,000 pounds.
I can't get to
Yeah.
2,000.
Well-
I think I get to 1,000. I can't lift that much, though. I can't do like you.
I don't
back
know.
squat like 1,000 pounds.
I want to say it might be different.
I was looking at that and I thought I've got a few good movements on there, but really once you get to like the Olympic stuff, I'm just not very good, for my size. I can do, I can bench pretty well. I can squat okay. I don't deadlift a whole lot. But then when you get to like the snatch and
For you, it's pretty like the Olympic stuff is pretty much all strict movements, right? Like you're just
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not quick under the bar and that kind
Right.
of. So it's you can throw it overhead, but it's
Yeah, he muscles
it's
it
not-
overhead.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
just muscling.
Well,
it
you're like
overhead.
me. You're not the most mobile person in the world.
yeah,
So-
not the most mobile would be putting it accurately.
So I thought barbell shrug was going away. So I guess they're still around.
Well, it's called Shrugged Collective now.
Okay.
I think that's the next iteration and doesn't involve all the same people.
They did like CrossFit and wipe everybody out except for a few, right?
I don't know.
They disbanded on a lot of people
Yeah,
spread out.
There were
Okay.
a bunch of us that worked there for a
And
while.
just they let y'all go.
Well, I left. I got a job. So
Anyway, well, good for them. I'm interested in that a lot.
The whole thing
I
with
thought it was a cool idea.
with the challenge like that got the wheels are always spinning about how to not gamerize, but how to like mathematically match running and lifting to where it was more of a, to where you could keep score. When you have a CrossFit WOD, there's a good way to keep score of that.
Yeah.
When you have a weightlifting, there's a good way to keep score with that.
Well,
But
when I-
mixing running and lifting.
When I saw that, I thought, man, I want a LHRL leaderboard. I want a deadlift and either marathon. I think marathon time I'm going to settle on. Like, what's your deadlift? What's your marathon time? And somehow score those two. The problem was with the running. I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh, well, if we give so many points per hour or whatever, that's not going to work because one of them you want to be as high as
Right,
possible.
and
The
one
other one you
exactly.
want to be
They're
as low as possible.
counterintuitive to compare the or
So
to
how do you score-
accumulate the two.
Yeah, like what's the combo to make a legit score that I could compare myself to someone else to make a leaderboard?
Well, it's just a weighted. I mean, that's not a difficult thing. I don't think it'd be a difficult thing to figure out. But I think that doing it across my dilemma is I think about how to do it on more of a day in, day out basis. Because I'm always thinking about the app. Like how would we make a running total that was able to level the playing field between running and lifting that somehow had a point system that adequately factored those things in. But it'd be a lot. I mean, you'd have to have somebody that really knew their math stuff. But it would also be something that would be plain and simple to where the scores were simplified and not.
Whatever the calculation is needs to be easily explainable. It doesn't need to. We don't need to bring a rocket scientist in to explain it and calculate it for everybody. They should be able to know, like, oh, I did this, so my score is this. As simple as, doing 6 lifts and knowing what your total is, kind of thing.
Right.
So,
But you don't have to know how that score is tallied. It doesn't have to, it can be complicated enough to where you can't figure it out on your own, but you still need to be able to input it somewhere and have it outputted. And it would be even better if people didn't know. That way they can argue about it the way that they argue about everything else in the world. Someone in the Lift Heavy Run Long community, a female, had a video of her squatting 400 pounds. 400 pounds. This girl is squatting 400 pounds. And some dickhead gets on there and says, his first response is, what are those 2 girls spotting you going to do if you drop that weight? And I'm thinking, she didn't drop the weight. She squatted 400 pounds. Who cares?
The 2 girls are there to make sure she doesn't die if it does fall on her. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Right.
Who cares?
well, his whole thing was, you need to learn how to bail on the weight, safely, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like,
I don't think I agree with that.
well, no, and that was the general consensus. One, he's making an assumption because it's 2 females that are spotting him that they couldn't possibly lift the weight that the person was back squatting or whatever. But the person quickly came in and said, "Oh, by the way, she does this weight.
One of them
she
is like
does
a world record.
Yeah,
Right.
like the other one does this. Like they could hold this weight on their own without me there. Like they, So yes, they are very qualified to be the spotters. It was a very douchey
are
move.
simply making the big time because now we have dickheads.
Yeah. We don't have that dickhead. I kick him out of the group.
The more dickheads we have,
Is that why I'm on the show?
Do I have to run?
Is that what makes this big time? Is 'cause you got an asshole
should
as a
there be a
host?
process that I run something like that past you that
No.
says, can I kick this guy or can I just kick people out?
you can just kick. You can willy-nilly. You can kick me out if you want. Just do it.
I got to tell you, I like the feeling of it. Just whenever
Well,
I hear
it's funny
something I don't-
because we're not the type of people that kick people out. Like you got to be extra douchey to get booted. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
true. That's very true. But you don't have to be that. You don't have to cross the line that far. You just have to be intentionally being
Yeah,
douchey.
that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
Like
Yeah.
to say something like that. And I mean, I can understand. Great lift, nice job. What would those people do? Out of curiosity, what would those girls do? But you go to some of these other pages, and it's a free for all.
But
it's terrible.
he continued the argument, like beyond the like, this person's a world record holder, blah blah blah. Like I seem to remember, dude, like continued the argument. After
Still need
that.
to learn to dump.
Yeah, you still need to learn, and it's like, okay, so this is not a constructive conversation anymore. You just need to go away, and thanks for joining the group, but you're not welcome here anymore.
Well, I'd be interested to have a conversation with somebody that actually knows what they're talking about like, should you really learn to dump 400 pounds if you're like if I'm going for a 1 rep max or something super, like if I get under 350 pounds, I want somebody back there or on this. I want somebody spotting me. I'm not going to even try to do it by myself. I could probably dump it, but what if I couldn't?
I think there's compelling cases for both. I mean, obviously none of us are experts, but I think there are compelling cases for both. The guy was like, you need to learn to be able to safely dump it, and I agree. But then whoever the poster was made the comment like, with that much weight, like the dumping it puts you in either this position or this position, and here's why those are bad. And here's how you can hurt yourself even worse
Right.
being in that position trying to dump it. Like, and so no, at this level that I'm lifting at, I'm not going to learn to dump it. I'm going to have people that can help me get the weight off my back.
Right.
And then the other point that was kind of obviously made, like, nobody is going to get to, well, I shouldn't say nobody. Dumping is for complete failure. Like, holy crap, something is going wrong. Okay? At the point that I get to the bottom of a squat and, damn it, I don't have it, I can't get it back up, I need somebody to help spot me. Those people aren't lifting the 400 pounds off my back. They're helping me lift the 400 pounds off my back.
At most, you're needing like 15 pounds on each side. You went for 400. You could only do
even
370.
if they're each lifting 100
so
pounds
each
on each
person,
side,
it's not like the bar is being dropped
Yeah.
from dead weight. You're taking somebody that obviously believes they can squat close to that
Yes.
amount. Even if they get hurt, there's still a level of resistance that if I have somebody spotting me bench press, they don't need to be a strong individual. I
Right.
mean, chances are they're not going to, people are like, well, I can't.
Chances are you could do 90% of the weight that you've
Correct.
got on there, and you've successfully done 90% of the
Even
weight
if
that
there's
you've
an
got on
injury.
there. Even if there's an injury. And so you just need that person to help you get that last little bit that you just didn't have the oomph to get it back up there.
Right.
They're not lifting that entire weight for you.
I've been in too many classes where I've seen people that have just scared the crap out of me, to where I'm like, oh my God. Like, even if that person knows how to dump it, like, you just don't, I feel like you just don't, I want to get my hands under there, just in case. It makes me feel way better,
Fair enough. I mean, I think
I wouldn't say, hey, you need to make sure you know how to dump it. I'm just going to stand here and watch you do it. Dump that bar. I would never do that anymore. There was a time when I probably would, but right now I'd be like, let me.
Well, and certainly neither are the people who are putting on the event going to say that's okay. Just if you get in trouble, just, do whatever you need to do.
Right.
We'll be over here.
I hope that you've learned how to dump that bar.
yeah, that's the thing. You go to a powerlifting event or whatever, and they're not like,
We hope you know what to do with
how to
that."
dump it. Like, no, they've got people there that are going to spot you
Right.
to lift that weight back up. So, anyways.
Oh, man. I bet you didn't know this. I bet you did. It may not even be that interesting.
What?
Middle-aged men run faster marathons than
I
20-somethings.
love this story.
I feel like that this is a recurring theme that I've kind of like in the back of my mind been aware of, where like these people that, and they don't even have to be runners, but are college athletes, and they played ball, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and then they graduate college and they don't go pro. And so they end up taking like 10, 15 years off of doing everything.
Your thought process is the exact same thing as
And then all of a sudden they go back to working out
Yeah.
and they become kind of badasses. And it's because their body remembers that work ethic, but now they've also got the discipline and they've got the drive to be better. But there's something about, I think about that rest period. I hear so often like, I just heard this from my nephew a couple weeks ago. He's like, I was deadlifting, or I was weightlifting every day for like 6 weeks, and I ended up having to take a week off because I had drill, and then when I came back, I was even stronger. Well, yeah, because your body needed the rest, and like, I mean, granted, 15 years is way too long, but I think after you've gone for 10 plus years of basically being constantly moving and working on a sport, and then you take some amount of time off, whether that's 6 months, a year, 10 years, 15 years, you're going to come back better and stronger and faster.
Well, but according to what I thought was interesting about the article is the actual age. I mean, this is talking about people in their 40s being faster than people in their 20s. When I saw middle age, I thought they were going to try to throw in, 33 to 37-year-olds. But they're saying that men in the 40 to 49 age bracket clock an average time of 4 hours and 17 minutes for a marathon.
And I believe because once you get outside the elite athletes, late 30s and 40-year-olds are more disciplined in their training, and they're going to be faster as a result.
Yeah.
I think the 20-year-olds are just naturally fast. They're young. They're not as
I
disciplined.
think it's
in their
also a
training.
little bit of old man strength. You've heard of that before, right?
Oh, yeah. That's a true
where-
old man strength is a thing.
It is a thing, and I think a 20-year-old kid running marathons suck.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's not like an easy thing for somebody to do, and I think as we get older, or especially around our age, I imagine we're more determined.
Is it mental strength?
Or more mentally able to push through that wall, versus my son is 12. I can't get him to run a mile. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just think there's a maturity thing. There's a mentality thing. There's a mindset thing that 20-year-olds don't have that middle-aged men probably do.
Probably true.
That would make you better at running a marathon. That's just my thought.
Speaking of middle-aged men who have a good mindset when it comes to running, Billy, the 100-mile slayer,
Dude, I was going to say something about that.
in their community.
Am I looking at this wrong, or he ran like 10 or 12?
14.
14 marathons.
He's trying to set a world record.
1,400 milers this year.
This year.
Already.
That's insane.
I'm trying to get to the post right now.
I saw that earlier.
14 100-mile races in 16 weeks. Current streak is 7 consecutive weekends. As if that's a real big surprise when he's done 14 in 16 weeks.
No way.
30 more remain on the schedule. Current world record is 41 in a year.
Jeez.
Wow. And how many is he going to try
That's
to do?
expensive.
Okay, so that's the
And
other
he,
thing.
and he runs them all holding an American flag.
No, he doesn't.
He does too. Shitting you negative.
Wow.
This goes back to like the whole like Iron Cowboy and other guys like that. Like the logistical requirements and the money requirements of basically being able to go every single week to some place, I'm assuming in the U.S., but like just week after week after week, forgetting the physical requirements of running 100 miles every week, like just the logistics of getting there, the race registration fees and all that stuff. Like, man, I hope this guy picks up some sponsors or already has some or something.
He's not just running 100 miles. He's running actual races.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think he's got belt buckles for all those things.
Yes. And I need to clarify that he does them all with a American flag, because I think that he does. I think he carries that thing the entire race.
Wow.
I couldn't carry a handheld for a... Can't hardly carry a handheld water bottle for a...
Well,
I can't carry my fat ass for 100 miles.
That's true. The flag should probably be the least of my worries. If anything's going to make it, it's going to be the flag. It's incredible.
That's pretty funny.
Incredible. I asked him how he felt on, if he felt groggy or during the week. And he said, by Tuesday, he's fine.
Where's he from?
I have no idea. I contacted him about being on the podcast, and he was going to be somewhere relatively close to here, but you know how that goes.
Yeah. There's got to be a
busy
100
running
mile
100
close by.
miles.
He's busy running.
Yeah, he's
100
busy. Yeah. We'll put him up for a couple days.
I wouldn't want to be making any extra stops. I know that.
Didn't I just see, and I'm once again, if I had my laptop, I'd be able to look this up myself, but somebody just posted that they did their first 50-miler following the app. And had a great results.
They sure did. But there's been two people. There's been a 50-miler and a 50K. Both of them were their first ones.
But they followed the program in the app
and
had good results. One of them was like 11th male overall finisher or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Holy
following
moly.
the program in the app.
Very impressive.
Cool.
If you ever have any doubts about whether the stuff in the app is legit.
How important is a medal to you when you run your races?
Not at all.
It's important to me.
I usually there's a part of me that looks at the medal to see what it is, like the dopey challenge. I wouldn't have done dopey without those medals, to be quite honest.
I mean, I get excited. Don't get me wrong. I get excited about the medals, like especially the ones that are
Tupelo,
marathon,
half marathon. I did it for the skulls, and then they quit doing the skulls, and I was pissed when I crossed the finish line. And they
I think the Goofy Challenge one, like it spins inside like the circle or something like that. I get excited about those things, but I would be the guy that if I could pay $20 or $30 less,
that's my question,
for a race and not worry about getting a shirt or a medal, I would take that option.
For 25 to 30% less race entry fee, would you skip the medal?
Yes, and the shirt.
I'd skip the shirt, but not the medal.
Vaughn,
I want the medal.
There would be some races that I would ask for the medal, or that I would sign up for the more expensive option, but I don't need it for every race.
No, not every race, but
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There
I
was
usually don't sign up for a lot of. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I usually don't sign up for some of the races if they're medals or if they're like 5Ks or whatever. I don't care if I get a medal. Half of them don't have medals, but I don't care to get a medal on 5K. But if it's half or full, I usually look forward to what kind of medal they have.
I would run a 5K or a half for no T-shirt or medal. But if you get marathon and above that, I'd prefer to have a medal. I like those things.
Runner's World did a survey to people in the UK that said that 68% of the people said that they would not want cheaper race fees. They want the medal, 68%.
Yeah.
Thought that was a pretty big number.
It is.
But I get it.
Yeah.
Either way. Doesn't make any difference to me either way.
Well, I think
This is the guy that pays full price for a race and doesn't take the medals.
and throws the medal in the garbage.
Yeah.
But I understand medals. I don't not take the medal because I'm like, stupid, medals are dumb. I totally understand the importance, the significance of a medal. It's just that it happens to be a medal is not something that, really does it for me. But it's not that it doesn't do it for me or I don't understand it or I'm not opinionated on it. I just don't really want to keep up with it. Because otherwise I'll bring it home like my goodie bag and leave it on the kitchen table for a couple years.
Not that that's happened or anything.
And then Amanda will remind me that it's there, so I'll move it into the den table for another couple years. And then I'll move it to my office desk. And, so it just works like that. Let's see what else we got.
I don't know. I just think when
Bill
somebody's
Richards
I'll look
is
at reminds me.
the Billy the 100 guy. He does run with an American flag, and it's in his intro on the Facebook page, Steve Wilk says.
Uh-huh.
Steve Wilk is my facts guy.
Attaboy,
There we go.
Steve.
Appreciate you.
See, we can count on Steve all the time. Not that we can't count on you, Thirsty, but we know that Steve's going to be here for us, too. He's going to be here for us as well. What were you saying, Amanda?
I was just saying I like to, when I look at these medals, I literally have memories from
Yeah.
each of those. Like I can remember certain, that's out of everything that I have, that's my most important one because that's my first marathon ever.
like
and
that.
Vaughn was there,
I was there.
and you were there, and you had
I
signs.
got
and
third in my age
kids.
group with that marathon.
Yeah. I mean, that means
Crazy,
a lot.
right?
And those are really cool. I mean, that's a hell of a collection and a hell of a conversation piece. And with as many races as you've run, I'm sure it is nice to look back on those. And I'm sure there's races you forgot you even ran.
Yeah. That's
And
my
everybody
first
that comes
half
in here is
ever.
like, whoa, are those?
Yeah, they all
whose are
look at
those?
them. Yeah.
I've got sciatic nerve pain. And my question is,
There's nothing you can do.
that's it. That's what I thought.
The
So,
doctor in the room has spoken.
So there's no sense in like babying it or anything. It's just.
I mean, you have to rest it, but there's really nothing you can do to fix it.
yeah, rest is stupid. That doesn't work either.
What causes the sciatic nerve pain?
I don't know.
Some people just have flare-ups. I don't know if you can go get adjusted. I don't know
What-
a lot about it to
what
see if
does
that
that
even
feel
help.
like?
It hurts from. It's like I almost think I have something wrong in my back, like a pulled back, but it runs all the way down to my ass cheek where it hurts the most. And if I press on it or twist it the right way, it'll hurt all the way down like my calf.
Interesting.
And I'm sure foam rolling, which is what everybody says to do, but I don't like getting on the ground, it hurts, but I don't know if hurting it means it's doing anything good for it. But I don't feel any better when I don't do anything than when I do things, when I do.
$1 million idea.
What?
We need to build a chair with a foam roller like in the back of it.
Like they have it
Like
every
almost,
nail.
almost like a massage
place.
chair.
With a box that has ponytails attached to the side of it. Ponytail sciatic
With
RX.
video screens that just run the podcast
Just play different episodes of the podcast.
and over. Can you get started on the prototype?
I'll work on that.
Somebody get Dan Koloski on the phone.
He'll build us
Build
one.
us a chair with a foam roller.
He just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Dan.
I haven't heard much from old Dan.
He hasn't chimed in a while.
He's kind of sporadic like that. That's the way he likes to operate. Then he'll come in and take the world by storm.
Yeah.
You talking about Billy the 100 guy? Wasn't there like some world record, like marathon 50K, 50-mile times set this weekend?
Ran it backwards.
Yes.
No. Not that. That's a different conversation.
Don't tell me no.
There was the guy that did the 50 mile and the 100K world
Yeah.
record.
He ran it. He ran 50 miles at a sub 6 minute mile pace.
I think it's 5:28.
Sub 6. I can't run 1 mile.
Nope.
And this guy did 50 miles.
I
And
wish I
did he
could
do the
remember his
100K at
name.
the same? Did he maintain
I
it?
don't think he made the 100K world
that's
record.
what's his name? Yeah, I forgot the Hoka 11 was covering that.
Yeah.
What's that dude's name?
I don't know, but
He run pretty good.
what's really badass is he's like, I'm going to do that this weekend.
Yeah,
And he
like,
just went and did it.
and then the story you were talking about, Vaughn mentioned in Slack earlier this week, somebody set the world record time for running 100K backwards.
In much faster time than I can run a
100K.
100K forwards.
Was it 50 miles or was it 100K?
There's 100K.
It was when you mentioned it in Slack, it was 100K.
It was like 11 hours. Something like that.
That's ridiculous.
Backwards.
What kind of?
But then I started
How do you
looking at
train
it.
for
It's
that?
like a thing. People run backwards. Like there's world records for the fastest backwards mile. And there's like you can go on YouTube and look up the videos, and there's like videos of this guy like running on the track backwards.
Speaking of things that are a thing, so Guinness has world records for a bunch of different things, especially related to running. A woman in the UK was trying to set the world record for running as a nurse. They did not give her the world record because she ran in scrubs. The nurse's costume involves a skirt.
Yes.
And I can't remember what the top part of it is, but it's basically like it's the old-fashioned,
Not slutty nurse.
not slutty nurse, but basically
But
like
it's like-
I'm just
it's
making
like-
sure.
Florence Nightingale
Candy
nurse.
Striper is what I'm thinking. Like
Okay.
Candy Striper is more what I'm thinking.
Wasn't Florence
So
Nightingale a nurse, or was she a pilot?
She was a nurse.
I'm getting her confused with Amelia Earhart.
Yes, you
Right.
are.
So it's like
She discovered Alaska.
the lady that did the burpee.
She
thing,
invented the
and
cotton
She
gin.
didn't go all the way down on the ground and set the record. Not her. I think
Yeah,
it might have
right.
been a dude, but everybody's like, "That's a no rep. That's a no rep," because he didn't
Oh,
go
because
all the.
CrossFitters are assholes.
No, that's your instinct to go because CrossFitters are
But
assholes.
they are.
But that's not the reason in
Me
this
included.
particular case. In this particular
They
case,
define the standard.
he set the world record for a no push-up burpee. There is also another record for a burpee that goes all the way down to
Right.
the ground.
Yeah.
Right. And so
But they
what you're
generically
looking
just
at-
say burpee when they're
So,
talking about it.
I'd be willing to bet there is a marathon time for running it in scrubs.
That's a doctor.
And there's there's a marathon time for a nurse. The lady who first did it was wearing a skirt, and so they can't change the rules to be like, oh, well, now you were wearing a scrub. It's different. It's a
I hear
different.
what you're
it's a
saying.
different set. You can still be a nurse, but it's a nurse with scrubs. It should be
the
a different-
difference is they refer to these as costumes as opposed to work attire. And so the nurse's costume is a skirt and a doctor's costume is scrubs, as opposed to this girl was actually a nurse. She wore that stuff to work and then went and ran a marathon.
I understand that, but you don't get the Guinness World Record because the
it's a
person
costume.
that said it.
Because it's a costume.
No, not because it's a costume, but because the person that set
disagree.
the record was wearing a skirt. It's not the same thing. Like if I ran a marathon in a skirt and you ran the same marathon in a pant, they aren't. I did something different than you did.
A pant.
A pant, not pants.
Pantaloons.
Pants.
My
Y'all are
pantaloon.
crazy. Oh my gosh.
I hear what
But
you're saying.
If I'm gonna run a marathon, first of all, I'm gonna give a lot of thought before I run a marathon. And if I'm gonna run a marathon and anything that's gonna make that marathon more difficult than it absolutely has to be, and that thing being to get into the Guinness Book of World Records, I'm gonna make good and goddamn sure that I'm getting into the Guinness Book of World Records after I get done.
and
So
I don't
there's
disagree with
questions that need to be asked. I'm not just gonna show up and be like, I'm gonna be the first guy dressed as Chris Farley.
I'm going to be the
I
first
think
guy to
they-
deadlift 400 pounds and run 50 miles.
I need to clear that up with somebody first.
I think they told her it would not count before the race, but she argued it. I can't think of what the term they use is, and basically they refused her her request, for reconsideration or whatever, and that's when the story came out.
I'm going to give her the record.
She should have the record
She can have it.
for the fastest nurse.
Jessica
Scrubs.
Anderson, You are the world record holder in my
Post
heart.
1974, when the lady let that lady still have her record too.
You give it both. That's right. And give me one.
One of them needs a record with an asterisk.
John Kelly, podcast guest.
Yeah.
He set the Guinness Book of World Records for running, I think, a marathon dressed as Link from Legends of Zelda.
Nice.
And then also won the Barkley Marathons, which is more significant than
Link.
that.
Yeah.
There's other people that have done that.
Yeah, there's like 13 other people that have done that. 18.
It's very common. Definitely
A
not
race
in the
that
world.
sometimes doesn't have finishers. There's other
Definitely
people
not
that
in
have
the
done
Guinness
that.
Book of World Records.
Hey, with you going on here's a topic you might want to think about. With you going on your special ops trip, do you get stage fright when you pee? Is it hard for you to pee in front of people?
Of course.
We had this conversation at the gym today because if you had your computer here, you could finally set an argument that I have with Amanda, because I tried to explain to her how serious my stage fright condition is, and I've told her that there's a medical term for it and that people have committed suicide over it.
Really?
I believe the first part, but I do not believe the second.
I might be making it up, but I haven't been proven wrong yet. So we were talking about that at the gym today. Like, I was saying that if they were sitting up against that wall and there was a toilet on the other side of the wall and I knew they could hear me peeing into that toilet, I would not be able to pee.
Oh, I thought you meant somebody was sitting there
Psychogenic
watching you
urinary
pee.
retention.
Like,
Even
there's a
Shy
difference.
bladder syndrome.
There's a difference between somebody sitting there looking at you going, hey, when are you going to start peeing?
yeah, right.
Like, I would definitely have stage fright at that.
I can squat right here and pee in front of everybody and not bother me.
I can be at the house by myself, no one home, have the door open,
Oh, no, I don't have that.
and start thinking about the fact that the door's open, and I will stop and go and shut the door. And it's sometimes today we're having that conversation at the gym, along with the conversation about the Michael Jackson documentary. So I take Andy to Y-Care and drop her off at school, and I was like, I got to use the restroom. So I go into the restroom by myself. I'm in a elementary school restroom, and I'm like, I got to pee. But I'm in an elementary school restroom, and I don't think that's a good idea. So then I started thinking about the Michael Jackson documentary, and then I couldn't pee, and I just left. Went to Walgreens instead.
Took out of the bathroom?
Yeah.
You just ran into Walgreens and used the bathroom?
Yep. I thought about peeing over on the other side of the building, and I thought here would be a chance where I would get arrested and not be able to go into a school within 500 yards of a church or school.
Within 50 yards of a daycare with his
Exposed. Not like just urinating. Like it'd be like
I
he's
have
exposed.
an article that is talking about those that have shy bladder syndrome that have considered suicide.
If you want
Brian?
fitness information, this is the place to come.
Stop.
I bet that guy is reconsidering his review. He's going to write one tomorrow, and he's going to be like, I learned so much today.
That's right. Yep.
I said I never learned anything, but all of a sudden they're just
But
dropping all
after you
these-
start peeing, you're fine. Because I
As
walked by
long-
the door and I've been like, I can hear you.
If she does that before, then I'm like, don't talk to me the rest of the night. Like, because then I can't go. If she's like, I can hear you, then I'm done. But as long as
That's
the
so
stream
funny.
has started,
Yeah, but once you start it, I can say, I can hear you, and you're fine.
then you can
peeing.
we can have a party in there. And
So
it
this is
doesn't, as
so
long as it starts, it's good.
interesting.
But the stream has to get started or else it's a no-go. Did you find where people have committed suicide over it?
No, sir.
Damn it. But it is a medical condition.
It is.
With the
It's avoidant paruresis or something like that.
That's what I have.
Paruresis,
Paralysis.
Paralysis. How do you say
avoidance
that?
paralysis.
How do you say that, Doc?
I don't know. Just said,
It's shy bladder syndrome is
Paralysis,
what it's
yeah.
called.
Yeah.
That's the simple name for it.
It's the
Shy
silent killer. Because you'll hold it so long that it'll kill you.
And
It'll
it's
back you.
underrated because nobody cares.
No, and there's no sympathy. There's no like
bladder.
support groups for it.
I
People
know you're
laugh
just
at
being a
you.
smart ass, but like you can't convince your mind
To pee when people are
that
listening.
things don't matter when you're convinced already that it does matter, no matter how much somebody tells you that it doesn't matter. Does that make sense? Like,
Wow.
it's a lot of matters in there.
There's like,
I'm just saying,
Big Thirsty's over here taking bong rips in between. conversation.
I'm just saying, like, you can tell him that it doesn't matter, but that's not going to change him being able to pee just because you said it doesn't matter.
It's not going to get me urinating any
Is that
faster.
why you go to the other bathroom down the hall instead of our bathroom in the bedroom to pee?
No, I just do that because I don't want to turn the lights on.
Can we talk about the fact that this is the guy that peed out in the yard on a keto stick for months?
But nobody's listening. You can't hear it in the yard. It's not a problem to pee on grass.
Okay.
It's the sound.
You don't want them hearing you.
Right. They can't. They
do
can't know when I
But
start.
he'll blow out a toilet
Do you
if he's
fart?
got to poop.
Do you fart in front of Amanda? I was going to say.
like that. I'd be more concerned about
But
that.
he has. This is our other part of our conversation. He could blow out a toilet, diarrhea and all, and not care that somebody's sitting in the stall next to him.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Oh, I cannot do that.
Me
Yeah.
neither.
There is
That's,
no
that,
way.
I don't
can't.
understand it any more than y'all do.
Interesting.
Yeah, I understand that it should not be a problem, that one should not have any more of a problem urinating on grass than they do on gravel, except for the fact that I feel like you can hear the gravel, and so I would need to go to the grassy spot.
You weren't worried about, like, stray animals that might come by and hear you peeing?
I don't worry about animals. I've
Okay.
peed around deer before,
Okay.
so I think I'm good there. But now that you mentioned it, that's going to be a problem now.
Take that.
Next time I see a deer, I'm going to be like, there's Swanson in a deer costume.
Take that, dude from the Berg. Some quality content right there.
We do have quality content every week, and we work hard.
I hope before you play that you have put some effort into some Special Forces experience hypotheticals this week.
It's time for
Hypotheticals. It's not hard, it's super easy. Hypotheticals. It's so fun and it's all so cheesy. Hypotheticals. Your cousin Ben and your best friend Weezy.
It's time for
Hypotheticals.
I should have put a little bit more thought on the Special Forces end.
Because,
But,
this
I don't
may-
have to be on an island here. You can come up with these ideas.
This could
as
be
well.
Vaughn's last hypothetical session.
Very could be. Hypothetically speaking, Vaughn, if you were going to go into the middle of nowhere with people that you don't know, do you think that you would come back?
Do you think you'd be able to pee?
Do you have...
I feel like I know Vaughn's answer to this first question.
Can I ask a, like...
Yeah.
You have your list, and of course we don't really know what all's on that list, but is there anything that's not on that list that you really, really, really wish you could take?
My watch.
Okay.
Is there anything on that list that you're like, why in the hell am I going to need this? Like, it's scary to know that they want you to bring one of those. Like a hand grenade.
No.
Picture
no,
of Dick
there's not-
Cheney.
There's not anything. There's not anything like that. There are other things that I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Like, there are other things that I'm doing.
Yeah, not stuff you're bringing, but just
Not stuff
steps
that
that
I'm
they're
bringing,
making you
but
go
things
through.
that I have that I'm having to do that I'm like, it's like all, it gets in your head.
Yeah.
So
I just want to come up with like a random or a bunch of random hypotheticals now about the Special Forces.
I could have done a lot better if I would have.
No worries, no worries.
Vaughn, if you were torturing someone with music, what is the one track you would play on repeat forever?
Nickelback, something in your mouth.
I knew it was going to be Nickelback, but what song?
Something in your mouth.
Okay.
Somebody, I got to tell you why I know this right off the top of my head, because I posted on Reddit in Sudbury, which is a part of Canada I'm going to, and just out of the blue, I was like, hey, man, you guys got Uber? Does anybody want to pick me up from the airport? You know, like, because that happens on Reddit quite often where somebody's be like, I'll pick you up, whatever. But so one dude said, are you a serial killer? And I said, I'm still considering it. And then he goes, well, if I picked you up, what song that I played would push you over the edge? And so I went and looked it up, like Nickelback, something in your mouth.
Amanda, what would be your song?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. There's a couple songs when they come on the radio.
It would probably be that Attorney. It's
Oh,
not a song,
God.
but when Morgan comes on,
yeah,
she
when that
just
comes,
goes,
I about wrecked my car trying to reach to get my radio to
hate
turn
that.
it off.
I
I
hate
can't
that guy.
She-
stand those
it has
fucking
a
commercials.
it has a touch screen, and Amanda, you know, like those Chinese boards that people use to sharpen their fingers to where they can like gouge people's eyes out. That's the way Amanda does. Like when he comes on, she's like, "Wow!" She taps that thing.
I just came across the
Yes.
Facebook update, and I wish I had mentioned what ad it was, but it was like I commented about the fact that I was listening to the radio. The ad came on. I switched channels. The ad was playing. I switched channels again. The ad was
That's
playing.
Morgan.
I switched channels, and the ad was playing. This was like 5 years ago, and I was like, "Holy crap! Well played, advertiser. That your advertisement is literally playing on every radio station
Yeah.
right now simultaneously."
I just don't listen to local radio anymore.
Yeah,
I hardly do
ever
anymore either.
Do you have a song make somebody nuts or no?
The only one that comes to mind quickly is Rick rolling.
That's a good thing to do, though.
I think, I mean, that song doesn't really annoy me. There's nothing that quickly comes to mind. Like,
All right, well, I got a better question. If you were going to be race director for whatever race that you wanted to put on, what would be your twist for the endurance event? What would be the thing you would do to separate it from all other things and make it like grueling or to level the playing field?
you have to run the race backwards.
Is that it? That's a good answer. That's a fair answer. Vaughn?
That's a good question. I don't know that I have a good answer. Make it different from every other race. Amanda, you answer. Do you have an answer?
So it has to be like a part of the race. It can't be like I can have the best, awesome aid stations ever
Sure, you can.
with like a hot dog station.
Well, the
All the-
idea was more like what would, but I guess that would be,
You know what I would do that just popped
what
into
would be
my
the
head?
twist? So, yeah, what
Like,
would,
I would do like a 100-mile race where you run out 50 miles and then do something crazy like get in a hot air balloon and they bring you back to the start again and you have to get out and go back out again and then they get you in a balloon and fly you back. That'd be awesome.
that's fair. That's a good answer.
That's pretty cool. I would do that.
I would
Oh, no, I
totally
would do
do
100
that.
miler, but I would
So
do
now you're going to steal his? You can't steal his answer. You can't steal his
That's how I would
race.
do that race.
You'd have a hot dog stand. That's what would separate.
I'd have a 100-yard long slip and slide at the finish line.
I think I would have it to where there would be a strength component based on weight to where it was proportionate to where just because you're big and heavy
one
doesn't mean
times,
you
1.5
can
times.
kill somebody that's not. And I would also have, but I would have the nutrition played out to where if you're 100 pounds, you're only allowed X amount of calories per hour or per mile. And if you're 250 pounds, then you can eat all you want, or at least more. I think that would be interesting. Man, this is some good stuff I come up with.
It's all part of the LHRL experience coming soon.
That will be one.
Hot air balloons and weightlifting and
Except that's going to be like
Calorie
like run a 5K hot air balloon.
Steve, like the people, the LHRL ambassadors, like want to put on an LHRL experience like right now. Like Steve Wilk is like this he'll send me a text after this, like this needs to happen now. Like this needs to happen within this certain amount of time. And I'm like, it can't because I'm too afraid. He's like, no, it's got to be by summer 2019. I'm like, no. So, guess what?
Steve, you get us to 200,000 downloads and we'll start talking about it.
We're out of time.
$200,000.
Downloads.
$200,000.
$200,000 when we're talking about
It's
it.
going to be the Wilson Horrell
We need to
experience.
finance somebody. We'll do some experiences.
We're out of time.
That's it,
I
man.
think your clock's off.
No, we're out of time. It's 8:13. We started at 7:10, so we're 3 minutes over.
Whoa.
Well, Vaughn,
All right, well,
Vaughn,
it's
it's
been
been
fun.
great knowing you.
Yeah.
It's been nice,
Guys.
We're not going to have a podcast next week,
You're not.
Yeah,
You're
so
not.
we
We are not.
We're going to hold vigil next week
in remembrance of you.
and make sure that send positive thoughts and vibes your way. And if for some reason you don't survive the next 8 days, then the following week's podcast will be a Facebook live feed of your funeral.
Do you want us to Facebook Live from your funeral?
Yes.
You do.
Yes, absolutely.
Who would you like to speak at your funeral? Who would you like to give
Oh,
your
hypothetical. Who would you? Yeah, if you could pick anybody in the world to give your eulogy.
eulogy? Now
who
we're
would it be?
talking. I'm willing to even go overtime on this question.
Anybody in the world?
Yeah.
I don't know. It has to be somebody that knows you. You know?
No.
You could get Morgan Freeman to do it and just give
Tony
him notes.
Hawk.
Tony Hawk, yeah.
That'd be a badass.
Who would you have give the information about you?
Oh, I would make Swanson and my wife do it.
Okay.
It'd have to be 2 people.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, and you do one at Facebook Live. Open casket or closed?
No, I don't even want to cast.
Well, that
I want
depends on how he passes.
Yeah. If he's mangled, if he just looks
No.
If a bear got him, we can't do it.
No,
the
I
body
want,
will probably never be found.
I
out
want
there.
I want to be cremated, and I want to put some of the ashes in an urn right beside Dopey.
I will have an LHRL urn made up for you.
He'll do that for you.
I will make that happen.
It'll take him a while to get
And
around
then
to it.
what I'll do is I'll have. This is actually something I did for my kids with Carol's urn. I had little mini urns that matched the full size urn that have
You
some
had
of
one
her
that
ashes.
you carried it.
Yeah, and I ran with it.
Fillmore.
But we'll take mini urns to all your races that you go to annually.
Oh,
And
man.
we'll spread
There
you
go.
out across the
That's
course
beautiful.
of all the different races.
That's actually
that
a
you
really
run.
good
That's
idea.
beautiful. Yeah.
I like that.
And my wife can handle the Disney World one.
Melissa says kettlebell urn.
We could put a false bottom in like a water bottle, and you could have him at the bottom of his tailwind, so that you carry him with you during the race, or a shot glass with a false bottom that had a little bit of your ashes in there. That would be sweet.
Yeah.
But chances are you'll die in a fire, so you will be already cremated.
They'll just give you. I'll have ashes already.
Before either
Premeditated.
nobody
See,
or
this is a good way to
fire
save
on the
money.
spot.
It's a good way to
We'll
save
put
the
you in
family
the
money.
we'll put you in the Tunnel Hill Chicken Trophy.
There you go.
That would be.
We'll hollow
fantastic.
out Dopey and pour you in there.
But we're going to make the agreement right now. Whatever happens, assuming that you come back alive and capable of moving around on your own power, there will be a podcast the week you get back.
2 weeks from
Yes.
now,
Yes.
we will have a podcast, and we will.
I'll be here.
It will be the
Even if it's a terrible experience, you got to come back and tell
Special
about how bad the experience
Forex's
was.
experience special edition, all about the Von Ralls process.
Well, you will do that for sure.
And he'll come back and he'll be like, I can't talk about it, guys.
I stayed at
It
the
changed.
Airbnb all 8 days. It was great.
Or I'll
It
just be.
changed
I'll be
me.
blind and I won't be able to see.
The dude had a pool. We just hung out and drank beer. Gained like 15
They were like,
pounds.
just kidding. It was just a joke. We're just gonna hang out.
It's just a man trip. You know,
It's like
we went trout
it's like
fishing.
it's like the fire festival. He's gonna show up and it's gonna be like a non-event.
When we talk about the LHR experience, I truly feel like that's what it would be.
Yeah, you too.
Just a
If I have anything to
disaster.
do with the planning part of it. Lift Heavy Run Long number 146 is in the books.
Boom.
Thanks for listening.